whenever you're ready, Coach.
Well, appreciate you guys jumping on with us. Hopefully everybody's staying safe and healthy during these crazy times. Super excited. It's hard to believe it's finally here. We've been through a lot over the last 6, 7, 8 months. And, I think probably the biggest thing is we've just got to continue to stay flexible because as you've seen probably in the media, many games are already getting canceled and moved around and rescheduled and whatnot. And so I think probably the teams that are going to have the most success are the ones that really focus on controlling what they can control and staying flexible as we go through what I think is going to be a really interesting season. Practices have gone very well. Our kids are all healthy as of the last COVID test, so that's a good thing. We all went through the contact tracing for 14 days, as I think I alluded to the last time that we were all on this Zoom, our first official day of practice. We spent the first 14 days in quarantine, so that was a little bit challenging, but the girls have bounced back really well. Practices have been extremely competitive. I've continued to be impressed with our freshman point guard from Spain. She pulled her hamstring early, and so she's been somewhat limited. Our strength and conditioning coach and our trainer have done a tremendous job with her, but she's going to be awfully dynamic for us. She can guard 90 feet from the basket, create some extra possessions for us, really creates the tempo, great court awareness, and just an incredible distributor. Great teammate, fun, high energy. I think people are going to really enjoy watching her play. But I think there's a lot of new faces. When I go back and watch some film from a year ago, we just look so different. We've got 4 new players in regards to 3 freshmen and our transfer, Lauren Hansen from Auburn, and then 3 more players that I think have a chance to really make an immediate impact that had to sit out last year, and in Shug Dixon and LaDeja and Shannon. So the dynamics are different. The returning kids have really grown a lot. I like the chemistry on the court. I like the ball movement. I think our shot selection has been really good. We're doing a much better job taking care of the ball this year. And defensively, there's been a lot of buy-in, and we still have a lot of work to do, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of positives that I think we can continue to build off of.
Thank you very much, Coach. Now we'll open it up to questions from the media. Looks like first up is Andrew Kaufman from KMIZ. Go ahead, Andrew.
Coach, I know your team takes a lot from the atmosphere that the fans provide at Mizzou Arena. Just with all the changes that are going to be around Mizzou Arena this year, what do you think it'll be like for your team, and how do you think you guys will handle it?
It's going to be a lot different. I just got off a Zoom call with a lot of our fans. We had a Zoom luncheon that we usually do in person. And so, it's just good to see so many faces, and it's tough. We've been so blessed with an incredible community support. And so I know it's going to be challenging for them as well this season, but I don't think it's anything you can quite prepare for. On Saturday when we had a scrimmage against our scout team, we set our bench up, and that was a different feel for our kids, but we wanted them to get used to that. Had some makeshift crowd noise to see if we liked how that sounded and what that was going to feel like. But I don't know that you can prepare for it. I think you've just got to embrace it. I think it's a season of just really being grateful that we have the opportunity to lace them up and do what we love to do and be around people that you enjoy being around. And so we've just got to, again, control what we can control and make the most out of every opportunity that we have to take the court.
Colin O'Brien from the Jeff City News Tribune is next. Go ahead, Colin.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for being here. Hope you're doing well. I was just curious, what are the goals the team has set for this season, and has the pandemic altered what those goals were at all?
Yeah. No, we had a really good off season. Probably more productive than if they were here. Just our Zoom calls, going through a book together, the leadership calls that we had, we got a chance to really peel back layers and have deep conversations about a lot of different things that go way beyond basketball. And so I saw so much growth in just that chemistry piece that's always been a huge part of our program. And as far as goals, we want to compete for championships. I mean, I don't think we want to hide from that. And I think there's a process to it. The book we read was Chop Wood, Carry Water, and it's just, staying true to the process and understanding, that there's nothing fun or sexy about the hard work that goes into preparing yourselves to be in that position. And so, we'll never shy away from putting that out there. But truly the focus is going to be one day at a time and being the best version of ourselves that we can be, and being great for each other. And no, the pandemic has not changed a thing in regards to what we're trying to get done this year. Last year, again, was a very tough year. We'd had quite a bit of success, been in the NCAA tournament the previous 4 years. I think 2 years ago, we were ranked as high as 11th in the country. Last year was hard. It was really hard. But as I told our fans on our Zoom call about an hour ago, I'm really, as hard as it was, I'm thankful for what we went through. I think diamonds are formed in the fires. I've said that before. And we had a chance to really learn a lot about ourselves and each other and peel back the layers. And I think we'll be better because of it.
Next up is Bennett Durando from the Post-Dispatch. Go ahead, Bennett.
Hey, Robin. It seems like you sort of alluded to this, but with so many transfers and newcomers, it's hard to get a sense of where the scoring will come from outside of maybe Asia and Haley. Do you have a sense of what your starting five is yet? And then I'm curious, particularly in the post, how you'll rotate people in. I know LaDeja's sort of an interesting point right now.
Yeah. I've got a pretty good idea of what that looks like. I don't know if it's been solidified quite yet. We've got really good depth. I'm really excited about our depth, talented depth, which is going to be huge for us. So I think we've got a lot of scoring options this year. You had mentioned LaDeja Williams, transfer that had to sit last year. She's honestly got a chance to be a pro. She's really talented. She's got just incredible feel for the game. I think can be a difference maker for us on both ends of the court. And so, we'll need to get a lot of minutes out of her. And I know sitting out last year was really hard, so I know she's chomping at the bit. But we've got some different looks. We can go more of a 5-out in true motion. We've got the ability to really spread the court, which maybe we didn't have quite as much last year. And I think we're getting kind of back to our roots a little bit in regards to being pretty versatile, having kids that have the ability to play with their back to the basket, but face up as well. I've been really excited about what our motion looks like right now. The spacing's been great. The ball movement's been great. The shot selection's been really good. And so I think with Mom at the point guard, Shug Dixon, Lauren Hansen, those are three kids that can really push the ball and play at a much quicker tempo than maybe we have in my first 10 years at Mizzou, which is exciting for us.
Next up is Michael Howie from the Maneater. Go ahead, Michael.
Coach, this has been a preseason, obviously, like nothing you've ever experienced before, nothing college basketball has ever experienced before. In regard to COVID, what have you had to do to change a typical practice to make things safe and within the SEC guidelines, and how has the team adapted to that?
It's been a work in progress, if I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm such a touchy-feely, hug, embrace, high-five coach, and so that's been really challenging because you just want to celebrate with your girls and get excited with them, and so that's been a little bit hard. I've it's not habit to have that mask up all the time, but I've gotten so much better, even in huddles. Just to make sure we're maintaining our 6 feet apart. Really the big deal is the contact tracing, and so it's so important that we're really being mindful of things like that. And, I think we all understand it's bigger than any of us individually, because you never know how COVID's going to impact one person to another. And so you just want to do your very best. I think our administration's done a phenomenal job. Our trainer, our strength and conditioning coach have just constantly, put those boundaries out there and reminding us of what this needs to look like in the locker room, watching film, on the court. in and out of the weight room. So there's a lot of people that have had their hands in this. But again, I think our administration's done a tremendous job with kind of putting those guidelines together. And nope, I've never been through a season like it so far, and I'm sure we still got many surprises ahead of us over the next 3 or 4 months.
Next up is Kyle Pinnell, also from the Maneater. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, Coach, with this non-conference, some non-conference games coming up, what are some specific things that you want to see out of your team as you prepare to really take on a difficult conference schedule?
I think for me right now, more than anything is our ability to take care of the ball. We want to play more up tempo, and we've got the players to do that, which I am so excited about. I love it. But at the same time, I'm gonna pull out some old John Wooden on you, and you got to be able to play quick without being in a hurry, right? And so just understanding. Playing with a really good pace, pushing when we can, understanding the 50-50 passes are ones that we've got to eliminate, and really put ourselves in a position to have an opportunity to score. Like I said earlier, I think we've got a lot of different offensive weapons, but let's make sure we get that opportunity on the offensive end. So that offensively would be one of the bigger things for me, is just ball security. Defensively, again, I think it's just the communication, the effort plays. I think, we've still got a lot of kids are getting used to each other and tendencies and whatnot, but, I think that maybe sometimes takes a little bit longer. And we've certainly got a lot of work to do on the defensive end. Our transition defense has gotten so much better from a year ago as well. And so that's definitely another, I think, point of improvement for our team. But just that communication, the intensity and the energy that you can bring when maybe you're not going to have the same environment that you're used to playing in front of.
Matt Michaels from KTGR, you're up next.
Hi, Robin. With Shannon, Shug, and LaDeja all having worked in your program for a year to be at this point and probably waiting even a little bit longer than they thought, have you seen them come together as a unit from coming from different places and now being a part of one team? And how do you think that injection is going to mesh with everybody else once we get into the stretches of a season that requires some senior leadership, even though they've all come from different places to be a part of your team in the past couple of years?
Yeah, they've been a great addition. I think that year when you got to sit out is really challenging and hard, and it's in a year of adjustments and understanding our culture, our expectations, our standards, how we go about doing what we do every day. And so typically there's a little bit of a learning curve, which is understandable. But again, I think the summer months, the Zoom calls, the leadership meetings have been really, really key for us going into this season. And, those three are young ladies that have been around the block. They've experienced basketball at a high level. They understand what it takes. And so, really the depth that they add to our roster is going to be huge. Again, I think we're probably deeper than we've been maybe in years past. Actually, without a doubt, we're deeper than we've been in years past. And I think that's going to be huge. We've got a lot of different kids, and we just talked about this as a team. We've got a lot of different kids that, on any given night, they can put up 15 to 20 points. But just the understanding of ball movement and passing up that good shot for a great shot and the ability to really share the ball, for one shot is our team shot, and let's get the best team shot we can. For our girls to really understand that, I think is key. But everything that I've seen in practice, all signs lead to me believing right now that we're in a really good space with understanding that.
Jumping over to Christy Thomas-Cuddy from the SEC Network. Go ahead, Christy.
Hey, Robin, I have two questions. Just with so much uncertainty going into this season, how have you planned as a head coach? Are you rolling it all out as far as the playbook goes in case there's a stoppage, or especially with so many new faces, have you had to be very controlled with that?
How are you doing? It's good to see you.
Likewise.
So no, we've reeled it back quite a bit. I mean, going with our whole team going into quarantine the first 14 days. I mean, just even our kids coming back in August, and you've got to work out 2 weeks with your strength and conditioning coach before you can get with a coach. And then there can only be 4 players in the gym. And then our entire team going into quarantine. And before that, before our entire team went into quarantine, there was, 3 or 4 players here that had been in contact traced. And so it was, for us, we just haven't had the time to maybe go as deep as we would have liked. But at the same time, Christy, I'll tell you what, I don't think these girls want a lot put in. I think they've really got a high basketball IQ. And it starts with your point guard. I've been so impressed with our point guard from Spain, and Lauren Hansen and Shug Dixon. Those are 3 kids that really have a high basketball IQ that is key, I think, in running a motion offense and in transition and just being able to understand pace and time and score and whatnot. And so that's been a position that I think has been really instrumental for us to go into this season. But we haven't had to really add maybe as many layers as we have had in the past because of their ability to create shots. We've got kids that can create shots. We got high basketball IQ kids, and just the mix has been really good from what I've seen so far. Now we've got a scout team that we go against every day. I think once you go against more structured teams, it may look different, and we can add a few more layers to it. But I really feel good about where we're at offensively right now.
And then last question, knowing you have UNA coming up this week, how have you planned internal scrimmages to get ready for tip-off coming up?
Well, we probably haven't done it the way we needed to do it, to be honest with you. It's just, oh, golly. It's been a little bit challenging because we missed the 14 days. And so then you still try to get in your 30 days, but then you're going 6 days in a row and you got tired legs by, the end of the month, and you're still trying to teach and all that good stuff. And so Saturday was the first day that we really did a scrimmage, something that really emulated a game. We'd had some 7-point scrimmages or 5-minute scrimmages, but Saturday we did a full game scrimmage. And again, a lot of things to work on, but it was good to get that under their belt. I think they realized that, we probably need to do that one more time before we tip off on Friday, which we plan to do on Wednesday. So that'll be good for us.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. We're running up against a little time here so we can get some players in. So I'm unfortunately going to have to do one more question. Ben Hockman, you have not got in a question yet, so you will finish us off. Go ahead.
This is going to backfire on you because I have a 17-part question for the coach. Hi, Coach. 2 questions. One is, can you talk about why you wanted the group to read the book you mentioned, Chop Wood, Carry Water? And then I'll ask the second question after that.
Okay, great question. I've always been a big believer in that. We've done that over Christmas break before, where we bring in like a bunch of books and just kind of let them pick from, what kind of they were interested in. But I just felt like with the season that we went through, I had read Chop Wood, Carry Water, and I love the principles of it. I think there's a lot of just life lessons that apply to sport, but even more importantly, they apply to life. And some really good conversational pieces in there. And so I think we live in a day and age where you face adversity. It's so easy to run from it. It's, the transfer portal's on blast. And so how do you navigate tough times and really stay true to who you said you were when it was easy to say that? And so it just created so much great dialogue for our team. I know Joshua Medcalf, he came to visit with our team years ago before he became rich and famous, and really enjoyed our dialogue with him back then. And just felt like it would be a great book for our team.
Thanks, Coach. I'll let you go.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.